Hello everyone, Silverstruck here. Welcome to the Silverstruck channel. I'm excited to talk with all of you about a collecting achievement that I've reached. Recently, I have been able to complete a very rare set of vintage rounds. What we are looking at here is the only known complete set of the Proof Strike American Prospector Silver Rounds by Engelhard. I've gone through the process to have this set slabbed and graded by Annex to preserve the rounds. If you are into silver in general, Engelhard is a top name to know, especially for fans collecting vintage silver. Engelhard produced gold Prospector rounds back in the 1970s, so the Prospector has been around for a while. In 1982, Engelhard began striking silver American Prospector rounds in the standard production strike, also known as a business strike if you're from the coin world. That said, some collectors may not know that Engelhard also produced a limited number of proof rounds starting in 1982 and ending in a very rare round in 1988. There are a total of 8 proof rounds in this short series to collect. So, in this video, I will show each round I have collected in 8 separate chapters. I'll list the chapters in the description of this video for your convenience. Before we begin, I will be showing images in this video from the best vintage metals resource site we have available, allengelhard.com. So if you're not familiar with allengelhard.com, please take the time to check out their website, as their information is second to none in the vintage metals world. I would also like to give a special thanks to my friend Three Toes Stacker here on YouTube for helping me reach this collecting goal. Additionally, I would like to thank Anthony. He knows who he is, and my friend Silver Bar Stacker, also here on YouTube. Now, let's begin. As I was saying in that very long intro into this video, 1982 is the first time Engelhard produced the American Prospector in silver. Most of those are the standard production rounds that have a mintage of about 75,000. So here what we have is the Proof Strike 1982, and this comes to us with a mintage of only 250. It's a beautiful round. You can tell the Proof Strike quite easily because of the frosted devices in the deep mirror fields right there behind the American Prospector. You can see here this one's in particularly good shape, coming in at a PF 67 from Annex, deep cameo. And then as we flip this round over, we can see the classic Big E from Engelhard right there. Beautiful round. Of course, I'll show an image from my friends at AE, so you can look this round up for yourself and read all about it. Beautiful round indeed. And the very first in this short series of 8. 1983 is one of my favorite years for the American Prospector. It's a key date in both the standard production rounds as well as the Proof Strike rounds, and incredibly interesting in the Proof Strike. One of the last coins that I actually collected is this Big E reverse. So here we're going to check out the 1983. This one does have a little spot off in the left-hand field, but that's okay. It's in remarkable condition, coming in at a PF 66. And as we flip this round over to its reverse, we can see that it is indeed the classic Big E reverse. Beautiful round. This particular round also shares the same mintage number as the 1982. So as you can see here, there's a mintage of 250 of these 1983 Big E reverses. If you are familiar with Engelhard, and especially the American Prospector rounds, you may be shocked to learn that the first time the Eagle reverse shows up on a Prospector round isn't the standard production rounds in 1984. It's indeed in 1983, a very rare round right here. the 1983 Eagle Reverse. This particular round here is in stunning condition, PF 68, so right up there, and has no blemishes. Wonderful round. As we flip this one over, we can see the very first time Engelhard actually used the Eagle on the silver Prospector. This round is a rare round, very hard to find, limited mintage. So as you can see here, the mintage is only 100. A very difficult round to find. Ironically, I collected this one earlier and had more trouble finding the Big E with a higher mintage, but that's just availability. It took me a little over 2 years to complete this set. The really neat part of collecting a set such as this happens to be, with the rarest of rare rounds, the 1984. Because of the 1984 and its low mintage, as shown here, there are only 50 produced, so there can only be about 50 sets of the Prospector Engelhard proof strikes put together. And that's very appealing to a collector of rare items. Very limited amount of complete sets that can be out there. So let's have a close-up look at this 1984. This is the rarest of rare. This one is in a PF 68 and is just beautiful. It's a beautiful round. As we flip over, we are in a Big E reverse. So not the Eagle reverse in this 1984. Engelhard went ahead and went back to the Big E reverse. Now, these rounds are problematic. They are faked horribly. There's a lot of fakes out there. I see it all the time. So pay close attention to the fields here on this round. I'm going to talk a little bit about the fakes. And here we're going to put a pickup from allengelhard.com. Now, this can be found in their section of fakes. Actually, they have a whole entire counterfeit section. And I encourage you, if you're looking for this round, to go to allengelhard.com, look at the counterfeit section, look at the frosting on the round, and be very careful to know that there are very few authentic 1984s. Matter of fact, I've seen some fakes in collections recently. The one that I have in my collection is the real McCoy, the real deal. So if you're into collecting proof sets, just make sure that you do your due diligence. And please continue to use allengelhard.com, just a tremendous resource. If you are interested in trying to put a proof American Prospector set together, or perhaps you just want a proof example in your collection, the 1985 round, as you can see here, has a much lower mintage. So in 1985, there were 500 produced, one of the higher mintages of the set, so therefore this round is a little bit more readily available and cheaper to purchase as compared to some of the more rare dates on the table. So let's have a look at this 1985. I was able to acquire this one in almost perfect condition, coming in at a PF 69. My best grade of all the rounds I've been able to put together. Just a stunner. And in 1985, we are at the Eagle reverse. So no more Big E, we're showing the Eagle here. It's a beautiful round. And you can find a lot of these in pretty good condition as well. So a very, very good round to go out there and collect. And happy to have this one in such a high grade. The Canadian Prospector is one of the more interesting rounds to collect in this series for several reasons. To begin, it offers a third reverse, which is very interesting for collectors. As you can see here, we're staring at a Canadian Goose, and the mintage is only at 250. So not incredibly rare, but definitely on the lower scale of mintage. So this round's available, but yet at a premium. And this is the only round in the series that's undated. Engelhard.com says this round was likely produced between 1985 and 1986, and that's why it's here in Chapter 6. Let's have a look at this particular round. On the front here, we have, of course, a Prospector, this time the Canadian Prospector. And as we flip it over here, we can see a goose on the reverse. Beautiful image. This round's in very good shape, coming in at a PF 67. A fun round to collect in this series, no doubt. Glad to have a different type of prospector among all the American prospectors. This 1986 round ties for the highest mintage of the set along with the 1985. So the 1986, as shown here, has a mintage of about 500 rounds made and is one of the other rounds that you could start off a set with. A little bit easier to find round and sold at a little bit less of a premium because more were made. So let's have a close-up look at this 1986. This one is graded as a PF 68. Very deep fields in this round. Frosted devices are always nice. And here we have the Eagle Reverse. The Eagle Reverse was also used in the 1986 standard production round. So, a very good round to be able to start a collection with right there. The 8th round in the series, the infamous Summit Bancorporation round, 1988. As you can see here with the mintages, it is at about 100 made, but the survival rate of this round has to be incredibly low. This was one of the hardest rounds for me to add to the collection. I'd even say harder to collect than the 1984 and Canadian and all of those. The Summit Bancorporation was a round I didn't think I'd actually ever have the opportunity to get, and is the only reason why this set is a complete set. So this one came from a private collector. You can see here this has the lowest grade in the set at a PF 62. That's because this particular round was definitely kicked around in generic bins for a while. You can see in the fields there that there's a lot of chatter. You can see this is the only 1988 dated silver American Prospector out there. This one was commissioned by a private corporation, obviously, the Summit Bancorporation. So this is a private company asking Engelhard to produce this particular round. So as we flip it over, we can see a date there, October 27, 1988, the Summit Bancorporation. There you have their symbol right there. And a little bit more chatter in the fields, but overall, very satisfied to have this in the collection. This one is definitely the rarest of rare. I don't think many survived. Very difficult round to find. I can't stress that enough. So if you find one in any condition, you'll want to collect this to be able to complete a set. Before concluding this video, let's have a look at all the different reverses available for these rounds. You can see on the first 2 years of issue, 1982 and 83, you have the classic Big E. And of course, the first time the Eagle ever used, 1983. And then we go back to the Big E for 1984, then to the Eagle for 85, the Goose for the Canadian Prospector, the Eagle again for 86, and of course the very unique Summit Bancorporation. So, a total of 4 different reverses to be able to collect in the proof set, whereas the standard production round set only has 2 different reverses to collect. If you enjoyed watching this video, please hit that like button. If you have any questions, please feel free to talk to me in the comments section here in this video. I love reading your comments, and as always, thank you so much for watching.